This is Overshare. This is the podcast where I overshare and Jeffrey plays video games. Say hello, Jeffrey.
Hi, guys.
There he is. And today, in lieu of me being not a very interesting person, I have invited an interesting person onto my podcast. See, compensation is important sometimes. So, my interesting person I have on my podcast today is Shaphan. Mr. Shaphan.
Hi. It's wonderful to meet you. I think there was a mix-up because you said interesting, right?
Oh, stop with your self-deprecating.
I lied on that resume. I'm sorry.
Damn it. I really need to have people screen those resumes that everybody's sending me to be on the podcast. Those piles of resumes.
Yeah, that's Jeff's fault. We're supposed to screen
Jeff.
And do
That's on me.
production.
We always got to blame Jeff. That's what Jeff's here for, if for nothing else than to be blamed for things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the goat, after all.
That's right.
Scapegoat? No? Nobody?
Nope.
Nobody?
Nope.
Okay.
We get it. We got it. We got there. It took us a second. It's quarantine. We're going crazy. But, so Mr. Shaphan is an actor, an artiste, a builder, a photographer, a creator, a writer, a man of many trades. I didn't even touch on all of them. That's just like the things that pop immediately to mind. That are some of the many things that Shaphan does. I had the joy of meeting him the way that I meet many interesting people, which is through theater. Theater.
And you're a true theater artist by saying it like that.
That's right. You can't
mocking your own profession.
That's exactly it. You cannot say theater normally. It's theater. We're in the theater, see? Theater. It's very dramatic. You see? This is why I fit in so well in the theater world. There's some personalities out there. There's some dramatic people.
Yeah. You're not short on personality. You're a professional personality, basically.
That's true. And I like meeting other professional personalities such as yourself. Theater is like a ripe ground for that kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're not have shortage of personalities there. No. And in fact, one might argue there might be too much.
No.
Sometimes.
No.
Sometimes I think that there's like too much for one room, and then there's drama, and Yeah, this will be my audition piece. I'm no longer doing a demo reel, nothing like that. I'm just sending them a link to your podcast.
Thank you. I think it's going to be the best reflection of your true raw talent. of the many things you've done with your life. This must be the peak. It has to be the peak. The pinnacle.
As an actor, I want to show a scripted version of myself. I want to show how much writers are needed in my world by on my own accord. This is great. This is great. I'm sure I'm going to get lots of work now.
It's okay.
Fantastic.
I'm in the same boat with you, friend. I understand. I'm a designer who's trying to perform and scaring everyone while doing it. So it's okay.
That's weird. I'm a performer who's trying to paint.
That's true. That is very true. That is something that we mutually enjoy, is the painting, Shaphan and I.
We do. Yeah. I love painting. That's how we bonded, is over painting.
We did. We really did. Shaphan actually is one of the only... He's actually the only actor I can think of. Like, I've had students and people like that approach me and want to work with me on painting stuff and on scenery, but Shaphan's the only actor I know who was ever just like, hey, if you would like help, I would love to come and help you and learn more about painting because I enjoy it and I'm kind of adept at it. And it was really fun always having you along on all of my paint calls, because the great thing about Shaphan is not only is their work getting done and the two of us are busting out some stuff on a deadline, but then we're always being ridiculous while doing it. Ridiculous. Yes.
I think we made a whole day we were inventing our own musicals.
Yes, I remember that. That was a thing that we did. We also...
Wheels on the...
Yes, I was about to say the wheels on the bus.
What was that?
The wheels on the bus. It was the bus was for All Shook Up at Theater Works. There's a plug. That's a lovely theater. Beautiful people, lovely theater Works. And we were doing All Shook Up, the musical there, and we were painting the bus.
The Greyhound.
Yeah, it was a Greyhound bus. But we were painting this giant bus for this gag, this scene that's in the show. And and we just, of course, had to sing Wheels on the Bus. But then it turned into a kind of a weird... Didn't the bus driver take on different nationalities or something? It turned into like a mad German bus driver, I want to say.
Yeah, there's a mad
the
German...
wheels on the bus go round and round. We decided that the wheels on the bus
Sit down! Sit down on the bus! You nasty children! I don't know. I can't... This was like 2 years ago. 2 years ago. I can't even remember.
It was something like that.
It was 2 years ago. It was 2 summers ago.
Yeah, and mind you, by the way, when we do things like that, we are surrounded by people. So this is not just Shaphan and I like in the studio painting just us. This is like on a stage where people are trying to like do their work, like install lights and program sound cues.
Yeah.
And we're like, the wheels on the bus go round and round.
Yeah, they're like, yeah. And how did I ask you about that? Because
I want to say you just like Facebook messaged me. I think it was just something like that. I think you legitimately just Facebook messaged me and was like, hey, I really like to paint and I think I'm kind of good at it. And if you wanted to ever have me along, I'd love to learn more about it. It was pretty direct like that. I mean, you chatted with me. You were like, how are you? But then you're like, I just wanted you to know that if you ever need me along, you know, I'd be happy to come and help. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I had no idea how it all was initiated. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, well...
Because I knew you worked on a few then prior, but we didn't know each other then because obviously our schedules didn't match up because you're working while we're in the rehearsal room and all that kind of crap, so like...
Yeah, it's different. It's hard to, unless you attend some of the social events with actors, it's hard to have much like social contact with them when you're the designer because your parts are physically very separate from each other. You're literally like sitting in the house while they're on stage and backstage together and stuff like that. So unless you find other times to get to know actors, you might not have very many opportunities to just have a conversation like about painting, for instance. So I was really happy that you reached out like that. And then it turned out, of course, that we ended up getting along really well and becoming friends. So that was the added bonus to painting together, was that we actually enjoy each other. It's always key.
Two characters,
always key in this business to actually enjoy each other. Lord knows we're not in it for the money.
Well, yeah.
Right? You gotta have some other skill sets. And I have talked to, it's interesting because I've used you as an example when I talk to my students sometimes who are like actor, director focused, but they seem interested in learning other skill sets. And I'll say, well, I have a good friend who's an actor and he came to me and wanted to learn some more stuff for exactly the reason that you're talking to me about. So the earlier you can get on that and have something else to fall back on, then the better. And you never know. I mean, painting and stuff, that translates into murals and things. I mean, that's what you and I were doing. God, last summer, that was just last summer, you and I were painting on the spaceship project that I'm still currently working on for that home movie theater. God, did we have fun last summer working on that? That was a good project.
Yeah, so much, a lot of fun. I mean, last summer, it's exact a year ago. Like, I'm looking at my schedule now from last year, and on the 15th of July, we were scheduled from 9:30 to 6 o'clock.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and I would have been there the 15th, 16th, and the 19th of this coming particular week.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I get those memories on social media right now about all the stuff we were posting because we'd post to our stories and stuff every day, all of us, and I'm always like, oh my God, I remember, so much fun. It was like I felt like for some reason like we went back to summer when we were kids or something, like teenagers or college, or we were all so ridiculous, and we'd work all day our butt off on that project, and then we'd go home and we would just party together. We'd go back to Jeff and I's place, and we would just party together, and then we'd go back and we'd work again all day the next day. It
was like an imposed, like it was like a camp.
Yes.
It was like we go and work during the day, whittle our sticks and build a hut in the woods, and then go back to the and then tell ghost stories all night, and then stay up too late and wake up too drunk and like go.
Totally.
No, we didn't really do that. We were actually really responsible adults for that. Like, even though we spoke like children and had like, stupid stories about who with who. It was soap opera all the time.
It was
either that
opera.
or you rapping Eminem.
Yes.
But that's your hidden talent.
It is
I really want
my rapping.
You need to be like Eminem karaoke and have like hundreds of people there because you drop the floor with them. It was amazing. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Those who have known me for a long time know that that's a talent that goes back to high school. Tiana's ability to like memorize every single word of Eminem songs specifically, especially, and just know how to rap them perfectly. So,
it's good. It's good painting music.
I was about to say it's very motivating when you're painting. Yeah.
Totally. I mean, sitting there and just like it keeps it going. You know, the beat just keeps you going.
I love rap when I paint. Yeah, I love to listen to rap when I paint. There's something really like plus there's an ego boost factor to rap. You know, the whole culture around it is very like I'm a badass kind of a tenor, right? And so that having that in your ear and having that beat that's always like such a motivating, driving factor. It's one of my favorite types of music to listen to when I paint, for sure.
Yeah.
And then yes, I'm known to rap along with it sometimes while doing that.
No, that's awesome. Like, it's just amazing. Like, I really encourage people to look at that work that you do. It's not like a theater show where people are going to come in and see that kind of work. Like, they have to either know him personally, which he's amazing.
Rick is a cool guy. And to give some context, too, for this project, is pretty neat because he's a huge Transformers fan. And he's actually purchased a bunch of, like, props and things like that at auction from the movies and, like, really authentic full-scale figures of the Transformers made out of car parts that he got from Taiwan and stuff like that. And he wants a really cool place to like house these things, basically. And so the home movie theater is going to be this themed interior of a spaceship environment where he can showcase all of these really cool things and showcase his love for Transformers and have just kind of like a cool imaginative space for him and his family to watch shows and stuff. So.
And we were... I mean, it's just to be able to paint those walls, completely two-dimensional walls, looking like fans and rivets and control panels and a window out into space for galaxies and a window onto the surface of another planet that has, like, what's the name of the Transformers planet? Like, Voltron?
Cybertron.
No.
Cybertron.
It's close.
Oh, God, take us back to last year where we're painting a spaceship.
Oh, my gosh, please. Yeah.
Oh, those were the simple days. Those were the simple days.
It really went downhill after the spaceship.
Yeah.
Well, for me, you're still working on the spaceship, but like...
Yeah, well, 8 million things have gotten in the way of me finishing it.
Yeah, like...
You understand
the global pandemic. Yeah, we all understand.
Yeah, well...
I can no longer work on it anymore. So,
yeah, I lost Shaphan. I lost Shaphan's help as, on my team.
Early. Yeah. It's because I hated my boss. She was horrible to work for. She was a real bitch.
Yeah, it's me. I drove him away.
Yeah. Yeah. She wanted me to wash my paintbrushes. I mean, come on, people. Own brushes. Does she know that I'm an actor and I'm supposed to wash my own brushes? I thought that's what Brittany was for.
It's tough. It's a tough environment. Oh, Brittany. Brittany has far too much talent to be washing your brushes, you peasant.
Yes, I know. I don't want to talk about it because I can't.
Don't get emotional. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not emotional. I will blush. Thankfully, this is a podcast.
That's the emotional part I was talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We know how you feel. We get a little emo about Brittany. He gets a little emo about Brittany. Let's not.
A little emo. That's fine. She understands. I understand. It's an understood thing. It's no secret.
It's not unspoken. It has been spoken. A few times.
It's been spoken of as common knowledge.
It's fairly common knowledge. Oh, shit.
Well, at least to the painter circle.
That's true.
All the painters know.
We act like everyone knows, and it's really like 5 people.
It's 4. You were generous. I was going to say 4.
I know. I counted myself.
Yeah, twice. Count yourself twice. It's me, you, Christy, and Brittany. That's it.
That's pretty much it.
Oh,
no, Jeff. How can you forget Jeff?
Yeah, me too.
Oh, Jeff knows. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Jeff. We forgot about you again.
Oh, whatever.
The 3rd time. He's really wrapped up in that video game right now.
What can I say?
Oh, yeah.
He's obsessed.
What is it called? Twerking? Ticking? TikTok?
Elite Dangerous is the name of his game.
Elite Dangerous.
Yes, Elite Dangerous. He's hurtling through outer space in a spaceship. It's very, very thrilling.
Very.
Right? It's appropriate.
Yeah.
So,
he's
yep.
the thing.
It's been a crazy year, and Shaphan and I had our own shit dealt to us that kind of made it a crazy year. That's why I lost Shaphan's help. It was unfortunate, but he is the kind of guy who puts his family first, and his family needed him, so he needed to go be with them and help take care of some people who needed help.
Yep. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. I came out here for 3 reasons, basically. 3 people with our family. My grandmother is 90 and she has dementia, and that's very, very hard. Thankfully, there's a YouTube channel for dementia. Her name is Dr. Natalie, and Dr. Natalie is like this dementia guru. I mean, she talks about how to talk to someone with dementia, how to behave, what to do, what not to say, what to expect, what are the stages of. She's an expert in dementia. And she has lots of followers. She's amazing. Dr. Natalie, who has helped me a lot in dealing with my grandmother, who has basically targeted me as the object of her pain and suffering and dementia. And, so.
Which I've read, it's common for caretakers, right? Caretakers often are kind of the brunt of the person who's sick's like worst moods and outbursts and things like that. Because they're kind of the person in proximity who's there. And there's a safety, probably a built-in safety that we all treat our own family with, like, oh, they're always going to be there. But even subconsciously, that probably still stays there. Does that make sense? Like, that's the caretaker. Oh, yeah. They're always going to be there. They can just be my punching bag. And you're like, hi, I'm emotionally exhausted.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like, it's her only grandchild that's left, being here and taking care of her. But yet, I'm stupid and I'm wrong and nothing I say and all my suggestions and all my guidances are immediately pushed back against for no reason. It freaking sucks. And meanwhile, she can barely form a sentence without forgetting words. She forgets her children's names. She forgets her husband's name. Like, this is all like a daily ongoing thing, which is super hard. Yeah. God, I can't imagine. My uncle, person number 2, my uncle, who's only about 15 years older than me, has cancer. So that's one reason I really came out, is because he's no longer really capable. He is right now because he's going through a really good phase of the cancer. So he has it in several areas: liver, stomach, and I think some place in his intestine that spread from his colon. He beat it. He beat cancer several years ago. And we're like, okay, cross our fingers. Well, came back and he's on chemo now, but he can't watch after his mother, nor should he be expected to, nor whatever. But because of the nature of my grandmother, she's already made some enemies of the family, i.e., his wife, my uncle's wife. Like, they don't like each other for legitimate reasons. She's a difficult person to work with. But he's there. And my mother, reason number 3, is in a nursing home just 2 miles up the road here with multiple sclerosis. So I'm basically now the overseer of 3 people's health. My own, my grandmother, and my mother. So real light, easy, fluffy stuff.
Yeah, especially with everything else going on in the world. It's an easy situation you're living, basically, right now, in all senses.
So it's just a smooth, it feels like a vacation, in the sun. I'm on the beach, just relaxing. Things are being brought to me. I don't have to lift a finger or even remember anything. I don't have to keep a schedule or call any doctor.
No responsibilities. No responsibilities.
No, the bills will get paid. They'll pay themselves. So real life. Well, I haven't seen my mother in like 3 months.
Oh wow! Because of everything going on. Yeah.
Yeah, they locked that shit down. They said no in or out. There's no admittances. There's no one. No, I couldn't send her flowers on Mother's Day. I sent her flowers on Mother's Day, and the hospital calls me. They're like, "Oh, we can't have your flowers come into the hospital." So it's great. So I gave them to my grandmother.
Humor is a way that Shaphan copes. That's something that Shaphan and I have in common. We cope with humor.
Oh, yeah.
That is how we deal with these things that are fucked up that happen in life.
Yeah.
And we have some other coping mechanisms here and there. We're not totally in shambles as humans. I think we have some ways where we manage to stay healthy in kind of an unhealthy moment. No?
Yeah. Self-care. Self-care is huge.
Self-care is really huge. it's very important. Yeah,
that's one thing Natalie has taught me is self-care. Like, I have to take care of myself first, and then I can take care of
yes, the oxygen mask. Yeah, they teach us about that when you go through like postpartum issues. I went through postpartum depression, everybody. Hi. That's another overshare for another time. But just to touch on it briefly, they teach you that you have to think about the oxygen mask, and that you would always put the oxygen mask on before you put it on, your child, on someone else. So the idea is to put yourself first and take care of yourself. Otherwise, you are no good to the many people who you would like to help, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So what kind of stuff are you doing to stay healthy, Shaphan, in this world, in this quarantine
what am
world?
I doing to stay healthy? I am, it's an uphill battle, that's for sure. But discipline is the principle that I'm trying to apply to my life. So I try to wake up at the same time every day, which is about 6 o'clock. Have coffee. Check any kind of notifications or emails, and then get to work. I'll do the chores. I will work outside. I have the luxury of living on some land where I'm growing a garden. I have corn, tomatoes, dill, cucumbers, watermelon, orange watermelon, marigolds, which are kind of dying right now, 3 kinds of sunflowers, purple, red, and yellow. So that keeps me busy.
Yeah, plants are a good one.
Yeah, it's about an acre garden, so
nice. That's nice.
Yeah, good, modest, like enough to probably. I'll definitely have to give away some food, so that keeps me some sun on my skin, which is nice, which helps my depression, which is the real thing that I'm battling, is the depression. And gluten-free. I'm staying gluten-free, which is definitely helping depression and all that crap.
Yeah, just minding your diet, keeping yourself on a healthy routine. I get that.
Yeah.
And I get the plants too. I kind of went crazy with the plants personally during quarantine. I think I started quarantine with like 4 plants, and now I have like 25 plants or something like that. It's very sane. Yeah. Some of them are edible stuff. Like I've got like cilantro and basil and like some parsley and arugula. But it's mostly, succulents and cacti and a couple of like little sort of tropical type plants, philodendron, stuff like that. So I enjoy them. They bring me a lot of zen. I think the cool thing about the plants, I don't know if you agree with this, is like that it kind of helps to mark the passage of time when you're growing things, because you lose all sense of time when you're trapped inside like this. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Seeing them sprout and water, and then little blooms and blossoms, and their first little leaves, and then they get big. Yeah, it's so great.
You have to repot them. In my case, there's like steps to mark, like, oh, they're getting so much bigger. This is so great.
Yeah,
you're pruning them, and it's cool. It's satisfying. I think I got it a little bit from my dad. My dad was really into plants, but he was not very analytical about it. He was just kind of like, oh, this is how much water it needs, and this is where it likes the amount of light that it's getting. I tried to ask him like what kind of plant it was or what kind of soil it liked, and he just had no idea. I'm like way over analytical about my plants. I'm like checking the pH balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like measuring the light candles, how many hours a day of light it's getting.
Exactly how many lumens.
Yes, exactly.
Tomato plant eastward side.
Exactly.
As opposed to the westward side. And if the wind is blowing northwesterly, well,
exactly.
How much moisture is being evaporated from the surface of the oil in relation to the taproots?
That's me trying to relax with gardening right there. That's Tiana's brain trying to relax.
Never have guessed that about you, Tiana. That was a lie.
It's a shock. You know what I was not prepared for with the plants at all that became a thing? Because, of course, when you're trapped inside, first of all, I have to say, you can either be like the worst plant caretaker or like the best plant caretaker, because you're either like carefully measuring and logging everything, or you're just like absolutely smothering it with like your human love and your need to like let something out somewhere. And the poor plant just wants to like photosynthesize, and you're just like, how about some more water? And you're like drowning it.
Yeah. I have loved a plant so much that I turned its color to yellow. And then I learned I was loving it too much.
See,
If only we could
humans
see
are more
people turn
resilient.
yellow.
Humans are more resilient to our overlove. I've learned that overloving a plant, it does not just pick up and leave you, it just dies.
It just dies, yeah. If only people would afford us the same luxury.
Terrible. Terrible, but accurate.
Horrible. It's funny because it's true.
It's funny because it's true. Oh my god.
Oh, there was an over.
But I do. It was an
Overlove
overshare.
too.
That's what you're here for. But so the overwatering issue led to the thing that I was not prepared for, which is the houseplant gnats, those fungus gnats. Oh, I got those bad. I got a bad fungus gnat issue for a while. Oh, I was vastly outnumbered by the gnats, Shaphan. I had to go on like a whole thing where I figured out how to attack the gnats. You know, it was like an offensive. I had to research my enemy. What's that?
Yeah, and like people like even 3 feet away are just watching you like swat at thin air, thinking you're like losing your mind and going crazy and hallucinating because unless you're right in front of that, you can't see that shit.
That's
so
true.
Like swatting at thin air. Is she okay? Did she overdose on her medication again?
That's
true. Like
again.
You can't.
That's
Are you
true.
setting little traps here? Like you can set like you cut a bottle and then you put the bottle down inside wine or something
I've
like
done all
that,
kinds
and then
of
they
stuff.
fly in.
Oh my god! So I started with like little cups of just like apple cider vinegar with like some dish soap so they'd get stuck in there, and that was doing okay. I was catching like a few of them casually, and then I got this thing called the Catchy. The Catchy is, I'm just gonna shamelessly plug. It's from Amazon, and it's like a little bug trap that has like a UV light on top with a fan, so the bugs get attracted, the gnats get attracted, and then they get sucked in and get stuck to this little sticky pad underneath. So that thing's pretty cool. That catches like a lot. And then there's sticky pads you actually put into the soil, and those sticky pads go.
Yeah.
Those are casually catching like 100 gnats a day. It's disgusting. So there. But yes, it's been an offensive. Oh, and you'll enjoy this one. You know what else works well for the gnats is I found out there's a thing called mosquito bits.
Say that again. Mosquito what?
Bits. Mosquito bits. Right.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's like the worst cereal commercial ever from like the 1950s. Like, gather round, kids. Who wants some mosquito bits? And all the kids are just like, no.
I was thinking mosquitoes naughty bits, and there was some sort of mosquito strip club happening.
Oh, there's that too. See, both our brains go into very random places. Very random places with the mosquito bits. But apparently the mosquito bits is not. There's not something that you would want to have do a lap dance upon you, nor are the mosquito bits something that you would want to eat, because apparently, according to the instructions, if they touch your skin, you need to flush generously with water. So I guess
God.
They just look like wood chips. They just look like wood chips to me. So I would assume that there's something dark and evil happening inside of those wood chips that kills gnats and mosquitoes.
So in the spirit of overshare, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever gotten bitten by a mosquito in your bits?
Dude,
Oh,
no.
Lord, no. No.
I have.
Really?
Oh boy.
Oh, well, so jealous.
It was a nice summer evening, warm. The water was warm.
Mm-hmm.
This is in Richmond, Virginia. There was a lake that was warmed by a power plant.
Ew.
Romantic.
It's wonderful. And, it's private, it's dark, there's things happening, and, you let things loose that you normally would.
Sure.
Like free the nipple, but not a
Of
nipple.
course.
It's a penis.
Okay.
And I got bit by a mosquito, 2 of them. It could have been the same mosquito. I would like
Maybe he came out back for
it
more.
was the same mosquito, because that would mean it came back.
Oh yeah.
Wanted
Mhm.
more.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you really liked it.
My brain, like, at least it wanted more.
Lots more.
So I was bit on my man bits, and it itched, and the dance that commenced as it started to swell,
Oh, okay.
not my bits, but my bite.
Yes, the bite on the bits. Yeah,
The bite on the bits.
the bits bite.
And it would look like a cross between I was doing the twist and I had to pee.
Ooh.
like the pee-pee dance and the twist. It was like that. I mean, I could kind of scratch it, but then you can't scratch too much because it's not like skin on your elbow or your arm.
Nope.
For those of you who haven't encountered a penis, it's a different kind of skin.
True.
Yep. It is. I don't know if this is oversharing or a science lesson. I'm confused.
It could be both.
But I don't. Yeah, I don't recommend getting bit on your bits by a mosquito bite.
No, that doesn't sound great.
Basically.
And those were my favorite excerpts from my conversation with Mr. Shaphan, who I always enjoy talking to, so I hope that was enjoyable for you as well. And I hope that you got a little bit of information about how we all stay sane during very trying times, because I know all of you who are listening right now are going through a difficult time. Who isn't, right? So it's always nice to know that we are all together, that we're in this together, and that we can all share ways that we stay healthy and that we stay on top of our mental health during all of this, because that is very importante. All right, guys, so that's my bit of wisdom for the week. I hope you all enjoyed. Please stay tuned for the next episode where we're going to talk a little bit about being a terrible person. Yes, you heard me. You, me, all of us. Terrible people. The things we find amusing, the things we find entertaining, you know, the most base part of humanity that is, well, disgusting. We'll talk a little bit about that next week. And I have someone very qualified coming on to talk about what a terrible person I am, my best friend Brittany, who has known me since I was very young. So, and she herself partakes in being a terrible person from time to time. So there's safety in number, folks. Safety in numbers. All right, band together out there. In the meantime, until that next episode, please all take care of yourselves and take care of each other. This has been Overshare. I have been Tiana. That has been Jeffrey.
Hey!
And we have overshared. Please remember that love always wins. Bye, guys.